Tell them I'm a rider. Yeah. Better order. Yeah. Unless you can't bet it, you know us. Yeah. I'm in the passenger seat, but God is controlling my life, the career, my life is in
Negative.
Sorry. One of these rappers as cold as high. Invest in a bitch, tell even come up what you want, a snake in the closet. I mean, and I kind of break it.
Something about a snake in the closet.
Snake in the closet. In the condo.
Hey, everybody. It's Freethinkers Radio. I'm Ebony Dixon, the baby jumper.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Jay Will.
Good evening, everyone. It's JB Sampson.
I'm back.
That was Elliot.
Hey, y'all. I'm Lexi Nick.
Hey, everybody. I'm William.
Hey, everybody.
We have two special guests tonight, Mr. Gerard and Mr. Michael, the board of directors. They're going to be telling you about that a little bit later on in the show, but I want y'all to stay tuned. Get on this Facebook Live. Invite your family and your friends. We're going to be talking about a few things tonight. Give us your comments. Give us your questions. Feel free to think freely. Continue to tune in. Download the app. Get on the podcast. All of that. You hear me? Hear me? You gotta mix some things together sometimes.
You're pronouncing just how
That's at the bottom.
Feel free to think freely.
And here we go.
Hey, Natalie!
This is Go by Holland, featuring Toby Mac and Diverse City.
I forgot what show we was on just now.
I mean,
I'm sorry, because Urban City Mayor announcing no shows. We just started talking about
This is becoming like a common occurrence. When songs come up, people are like, all right, let's continue with the conversation that we're supposed to
regulate like you did the other week when you said, this is our show.
Blessed Ender.
Right.
Blessed Ender. What's going on, Blessed Ender?
Yes, yeah.
Hey, Ciara.
See,
The first article we're going to talk about is the band, the travel band. That's been lifted.
Travel ban. You say it fast, it almost sounds like Taliban.
Coincidence?
I think not. Nobody confirmed.
These aren't facts. These are just alternate facts.
You know what? This does sound like a Sierra beat, though.
I was thinking
Yeah. It's definitely automatic. Super Sonic Kid Rocket is Rocket Fresh.
Natalie. I see it. That's your peoples, Natalie, your peoples.
Yo, you ain't gonna say nothing?
No, I'm sorry.
Say nothing to us. Hey, you.
You there.
Hey, you there. We're back, Freethinkers Radio, and we're just going to be talking about some things going on in the news. You know what I'm saying? What about that travel ban that's been lifted, or put on hold, as we say? And Trump is a little livid about that.
Pause. No, I'm saying.
But after that thing was lifted, we was like, let's get on a plane! Everybody started coming over here.
Oh my god.
Hey, and guess what? The young lady that went to Clemson, she made it back to her dog Dexter, so she's back home where she went. Oh, you pointing at the paw? You pointing at the paw?
That's right.
So yeah, she had an opportunity to come back home, and she was just glad to be here. And a lot of people were at the airport welcoming her back and stuff like that. But once that thing was on hold, everybody was like, "Yo, this is our chance to get over there." Because we don't know what's gonna happen, and Trump like, I'm gonna just I could put another order out if I wanted to. So
Listen, it's gonna be another one. It's gonna be huge.
There you go. So what y'all think about that though?
Huge vocabulary. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, the alternative facts will say that it was not a ban.
Extreme
betting.
Extreme betting.
That's what it was. Yeah.
I mean, he said it wasn't a ban because it didn't ban all Muslims, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, police ain't shooting all black people.
Just the ones that scared.
Which seems to be a pretty big percentage, but that doesn't matter. That's beside the point.
Yeah, the court said that basically that he didn't realize that they were checks and balances. I guess that's what happened when a CEO becomes president.
Yeah.
Right. So you're a servant now, and he ain't really ready for that type of life.
Right? Shouldn't his assistant or something be his second hand man be telling him something, or shouldn't they be filling him in something?
Is there no formal meeting?
I thought the assistant didn't know what they were doing either.
Somebody need to know something.
Well,
Trump doesn't listen to anybody though. It doesn't matter. You pull him to the side. Hey man, let me talk to you real quick. Nah, dog, I'm good. I got this.
That's not good.
Yeah, that's really what the report says.
about all this.
That's how you say that the White House officials say that he does not listen to his staff. There's not very many people he listens to at all.
Yeah, because nobody knows anything. I know everything.
So I mean, can't something be done about that? Like they all gang up on him or something?
Impeach is gonna get impeached.
Yeah, impeach or not. That is a constitutional amendment, though. If you're looking at the Constitution, does say that that if the cabinet and the vice president agree that the president has to go, they can replace him without impeachment by Congress.
So then it's up to the vice president to put those things in order.
Problem is Mike Pence.
Yeah.
What's the problem with Mike Pence?
I'm not sure how much better he is.
I don't think he is going to be better.
When it comes to, interest-wise, I would say I think he'll govern better than Trump because he's been a governor. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying, of Indiana. Although he almost got the Final Four kicked out of Indiana, so I don't know how good that makes his experience as a governor. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's I know a lot of families were affected by this. Like one guy, his mom died because she couldn't get back to the States to get her medicine.
Wow.
And it was just a lot of bad stuff going on, and I don't know what can happen with that as far as I don't know, can they sue? I mean, what do you do in that situation?
I guess my question is all the people who have lived here who have not, and maybe they have applied for their green cards and they just haven't gone through, which is a whole nother crazy process that takes forever for people to get, unfortunately. So my question is, if these people who come into America and they're living here for several years, but yet they just stay maybe on a work visa or else they don't apply for citizenship, why are they not applying for citizenship? Why are they not applying for dual citizenship? Are they trying to apply? I mean, and all this, and of course, those are open-ended questions that a lot of us just don't have the answers to. But I would like to know personally.
How long is that process?
Yeah,
does anybody know about that?
I've heard people talk about it who were immigrants said they applied, and it's been a 2-year process. The vetting process is 2 years.
Yeah,
I mean, so why you need another 6 months? You already vetted everything about this person.
Okay, when we're talking about the process, though, and we're talking about these countries specifically, in reality, when we're looking at people coming from other countries, Latin countries, coming through Mexico, the process is a lot longer. And so my question is, why is it so much easier to come from these countries that are, how do I put this, that we see as dangerous countries? Do you see what I'm saying? That's, I mean, and that's, everybody can admit that a lot of times that's where this is coming from. So why is it so much harder to come from a Latin country versus
a country that overseas?
Right.
Yeah. Well, I guess it goes back to, are you visiting or are you sneaking in?
Okay. But if there was a process to get in from Latin countries, we would probably have a lot less sneaking in.
That's a good point. Well, feel free to think freely. This next song is called Fighter by Mika Ellis. Misha. Oh, Misha.
That's all right, man. That's all right.
I'm sorry. It's spelled M-I-C-A.
I know. It's Misha, though.
M-I-C-A.
Sure. With just a C.
That is an interesting question, though. Why is it spelled with a C instead of
Why is there no indication of a sure?
Is it possibly because they're coming through almost another country to come to this country? So say they're coming from Cuba, coming from South America, and then they have to go through Mexico to get here? Is that possibly one of the things?
But they can't even come from their own country. And I'm saying this, I have siblings that came from other countries. My own dad came from another country, and they went through the proper procedures to get here. And I'm telling you, I have siblings that it took more than 2 years. I'm talking 7 years. I'm talking 14 years to get papers. I mean, and that's just to be here. My dad is now a citizen of the United States. Praise the Lord. That was a long testing process for him.
How long was it?
For my dad, well, he's been a resident since, I wish I knew the exact date. So he's been a resident for as long as I can remember. And he got his citizenship when I was in Hawaii, so within the past 4 years.
Oh,
So, but he's been a legal resident for quite some time. So he's had the ability to work and do those things that a lot of people don't have the privilege of doing here because they didn't go through the proper procedures to get here.
1 second.
Oh,
This next song is called Rise by Skillet.
Alicia Nick said she would love to answer that question.
Where's your
Oh.
Where's your father from?
No sugar.
Go ahead, give us the facts, Mama.
Where's your father from?
He's from El Salvador.
Salvador.
Word.
Yes.
They're saying those countries were it's not. They're using the word that they're dangerous, but they're really talking about the fact that their governments are less organized and not as weak as far as like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, well, not as strong. You see what I'm saying? As far as like they're expecting the government to give us the information that we need to know. You know what I'm saying? Almost like, you know, if you're coming from America, they can tell you our criminal record. They can tell you, you know what I'm saying, what matches up with our social security number, our credit, things like that.
Yeah, well, like
you know.
if a country is in the middle of civil war, I mean, really, are they going to take time, or are they going to have the ability to give you the information that you're asking for?
Right, and that's why they want to extrovert those people. But I don't know how 6 months is going to help that.
But this vetting thing isn't something that's new. I mean, it's going on for the past 50 years.
Right.
Obama agreed that we needed a stronger vetting process.
Right.
It's
It
gone.
is, yeah.
So,
It's gone all the way back. I mean, Reagan before him, Ford, I think.
But what about when
we're about to come back to this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
And I think we're gonna
got you.
continue this. We just got there.
I got you.
We're back, Freethinkers Radio. We're talking about this travel ban and the vetting process. Jay, what were you saying?
My question was going to come up because I remember during it. Well, I don't remember. I know I've read during the 30s and 40s when.
I'm about to say,
well, during the 30s and 40s when the Irish used to come over, Irish immigrants used to come over, and from other countries. Why is the process was so? I know. It's a different day, but why was the process least? It was hard. It was easier then than it is now, almost, because other countries still had those kind of issues when they came over.
well, probably because of all of the terrorism. I would think that changed how things are.
World War
working
One,
out.
World War Two.
Well, you also have to
gives you
think
some
about the sheer volume of data that exists now. You know, before then, you know, they probably couldn't tell you maybe an address is all they had to give you, or you know, the name of their parents' birth names and stuff.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
hometown. That's, you know.
And in the 30s and 40s, you know, a lot of the Irish ancestry. I mean, they felt a lot of the same backlash that we see.
right.
Yeah.
You know, these Middle Eastern countries who are trying to come in now, they felt the same thing. You know, you had red hair, it was over.
Right.
Not to point.
I know what I'm talking about.
You know, the good news in all this is that it's proof of checks and balances existing. You know, it's proof that at least for now the system kind of shows, you know, that it functions.
It functions.
In different, you know, from top down or from bottom up too. You know, if people don't like what Trump's doing, then you know they have the power to potentially put a halt to that. If you know Trump sees something that needs to happen immediately, he can do that, and we can see, you know, if it passes, like we can approve it or not. You know, the interesting thing though is, you know, Trump's legal team, whether or not he listens to them, right, they are reshaping things to try again for this ban. The good news in all of that, regardless of how you feel on the ban, pro or against, is that they're trying to reshape this thing so that it's legally acceptable by courts.
Right.
So,
They're trying.
you know, it's like you can look at it that way and say, well, at least it's proof that people are trying to maybe find a common ground for both sides.
Right. Trying to make some
you
moves
know.
To be real though, I mean, you gotta, and I think this might be for some reason. Trump's been president of the month. And I think I'm about to defend him right now.
Wow.
Drum roll, James.
History.
Okay. The bad thing about the ban was the way that it was carried out, and the fact that it was a ban of certain countries and not others. But the vetting process, I think we got to remember that this was a big Bill Clinton. You know, he ran on this. He ran on doing this. Bill Clinton promised to do this first, and I think a lot. And when you say why is it like this now, we have to remember what role we played in Desert Storm. You see what I'm saying? That ignited You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
ignited those Middle Eastern people to want to, you know what I'm saying, to really fortify against America like that. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask this question, because it seems like not everyone is totally against the ban, and a lot of people are saying like the vetting is needed and required. You even heard someone even mentioned that Obama was saying that additional vetting was needed in this country. So is the issue with the wording calling it a ban?
Yeah, I mean it was,
because if you said something that was more sensitive,
if you say I can't come tomorrow, that's a ban. You know, that's a problem. When you know you need 60 days to get a travel ticket, you know, a plane ticket, and you're gonna say, well, tomorrow nobody can come in. Oh yeah, that's gonna start.
So if we say in 90 days, then we're gonna start this thing. So wouldn't it be like what's happening right now when everybody's flooding into the United States? Like, and nobody see this as a problem? I mean, this is dangerous to have this many people coming in. Who knows? I mean, if you're coming in last minute like this, who knows if it is actual people who have already been in the process, or if this is new people that are saying, okay, this is our chance. This is our, whether it be terrorists or whether it be people who really did have the desire to settle down in America. How do we determine that?
Here's the way I look at it, and this is just me. I liken it to how I keep my house. So when I go to bed at night, even when I'm there, I have my doors locked.
Right.
And I have a peephole on my door that allows me to see who I am and I'm not going to let into my home. And I think in a way it's Trump's responsibility as the president to oversee how we can allow certain people, the people who are okay, to come into our home.
Mm-hmm. Feel free to think freely.
Well,
right on time.
I think a lot of these people trying to, hit the planes and come over to America are probably thinking, try and stop me if you want to. That's probably why they all came over here so quickly. This is Stop Me by Christine Gray.
I agree. Alicia Nick says, why aren't we doing more for the immigrants that are here?
I think
you mean like Americans? All of us.
I think, and I think we all know that she's talking about the immigrants who have come into the borders already, who are trying to get their American citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that we can't? If the vetting process is going to be so strenuous and so strict, how come when they get through the vetting process, it takes another 2 years, 7 years, 14 years to get a citizenship? Or to get the ability to live here and work here and pay your taxes and all that.
This is real, man.
That's real.
Wow.
And that's a good question. I mean, it did take.
That's what Lexi said.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
It can take up to 14 or more years to get here.
Well, I mean, I just happen to be a part of a people that took them 400 years to give us right to vote.
Oh, wow.
Yep, that just went
So
there.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's a process that's basically based on necessity. You know what I'm saying? I think when we all
This next song is called All the Way In by Made for Christ.
And that's what Dave's about to do.
All the way in.
I'm just saying, when we solidify and make the main thing, that's when we're gonna see some change happens. I think when you look at every community that has found out how to protest and have legal administration ready
Yes.
at the same time, you know what I'm saying, Malcolm and Martin at the same time, that's when things happen. But if you only have one, you don't have the other, or you have one, you don't have the, nothing gets done, because they know how to beat one. They can't beat both at the same time. You see what I'm saying? So truthfully, yeah, that's what's going on. That's why Trump just sent all those officers into Chicago and all that, right? In South Carolina, I think 75% of the people that they rounded up were in South Carolina. The immigration police were rounding up people last week.
Now hold on about the immigration roundups. I mean, from what I've read, and I could be wrong because y'all, I'm not that educated when it comes to this kind of stuff. So teach me if I'm wrong. But from what I understand, these people that are being rounded up have criminal records. That's why they're being targeted from ICE for whatever the immigration police. They are being targeted because they have criminal records. As coming from family members and all this, we would like, and I'm speaking on behalf of Hispanic people in general and immigrants all over. we would like to get the criminals out so they can stop giving the rest of the immigrants a bad name.
Yeah,
We don't want them here either.
Right.
So I have no problem with rounding up ones who have already crossed the line, have already received DUIs in our state, so that those of us who are here being, abiding by the laws here, whether they are residents or here illegally, they are trying to abide by the laws that they have here in front of them right now in their situation.
Yeah.
So do I have a problem with ICE roundups when we're talking about people that already have criminal records? I don't know.
Well, do I have a problem with ICE roundups? Probably not overall. But unfortunately, my experience has told me that when you say that they're being rounded up because they have crimes, what are the crimes? You see what I'm saying? Because voter suppression has also worked in, you know what I'm saying? It has also been worked through saying that we're stopping people who are criminals. But then you look through the files and there are people who aren't in some situations. In some cases you have mistaken identity. In some cases you have misdemeanors that are ridiculous. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Whenever you go into a process where a mass of people are going to be affected by it, the innocent will always be a part of it.
Right.
And you have to be aware that, it could be your brother or your sister that gets affected by this, even though they're not a criminal, but because they're being part of the big roundup. And it could be something simple, like you were saying, like a suspended license or something like that. Oh, now you're a criminal. You got a record.
Well, technically.
Well, you came here illegally. Technically, you are a criminal, period. You already broke the law. Now, do I think that there are circumstances that people come here because they really feel they have no other choice? Absolutely. But do I think that justifies disobeying the law? I mean, it's sad, but it's...
I think that coming here illegally is a civil offense, though, if I'm not mistaken. Like the ways that they round them up, I think that's civil. It's not exactly a criminal offense to be. I think when they're saying people who are breaking the law, it had to be some other law, I think. But I think immigration
maybe it's not an
was
arrestable offense,
right.
but you're breaking a law regardless of what kind of law you're breaking by coming here illegally, and you're taking that chance.
I do have a question because do we put such a more stipulations on Mexico because they have a weaker government than Canada? Because don't we have just as much Canadians coming into America as Mexicans?
Yeah, we also have open ports, open seaports up and down the East Coast and the South Coast that, it's not just Mexico in the world. Yeah. It's all over the world.
Yeah, but
man.
I think sometimes when we talk about it, I mean, not us, but when it's talked about, it's always pointed down south instead of up north. Where
I think you hit the nail. It has a lot to do with the government structure.
Mm-hmm.
Has a lot to do with the government structure. Mexico, and I don't know much about the Mexican government, but it's my understanding that their government structure is rather at times corrupt. Whether that's because of the cartel or whatever it may be. Where the Canadian government seems to not be as corrupt. I mean, I don't know.
Well, they're corrupt enough to be our third largest importer.
I have my own ideas about government to begin with. Yeah, and that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother show. So.
I didn't know.
Yeah, because I mean, my thing is most times when they put up images of illegal immigration or things like that, they're usually pointing at Mexico or other Hispanic countries. But I'm like, but Canada's right there. Right. And they take up a larger portion of America than Mexico does. Their borders are a little bigger.
Well, I'll also say this. I work with a lot of people who live in Canada, and Canada is a lot like the U.S.
They have no need to come
here. They really don't have a desire or need, like Lexi's saying, to come here. There's some minor differences, like they have social medicine, where we don't. But as far as that,
social medicine.
Government completely pays for everything when it comes to healthcare.
I need to be a Canadian.
Well, not if you like weight lines.
Well, and the people I've worked with have told me that they cannot stand their healthcare system. So,
who Canadian?
Yes.
Well, how can you not stand it when you're not paying for anything?
Because you have to wait 6 months just to see a regular doctor, even if it's an emergency.
Dying of flu and stuff.
And that's what happens when you have free healthcare.
Yeah.
Well, really, I think it all comes down to just the disparity in government oversight. I don't like government, period. But
Mr. Libertarian.
Yeah.
Anarchy.
But the difference between Canada and Mexico is like, or anywhere
One's north, one's south.
Central Latin America.
That's the difference.
You've got a significant amount less political or like governmental oversight in these countries to our south. Canada is basically the U.S. as far as politically, economically. It's very similar. So the reality is, like we were talking about, Mexico's. It's a known thing that Mexican government, all levels of Mexican government and law forces, are pretty much have elements of corruption in them. If not widespread, then portions. So the reality is, I would think it would have to be a lot stricter for Latin American, South American countries, Central American countries versus Canada, because the oversight is just not there.
Right.
And if it is, it's bribable. It's it's completely
We're
turn a blind eye to it.
Yeah, I was about to say, our country is corrupt.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
definitely.
But in comparison to the Middle East countries, because that's really what we're comparing
This
to.
Well, this is the thing I'm thinking about as you were speaking. When you start, because we do have the right to say no. The U.S. does have the right to say no. You can't come into our country. I do agree with that. And it has to be the legal way of doing that. But whenever we start deciding, okay, well, this country, it functions more like the U.S., so they may be better to come into. They may be better suited for our country. They're not the U.S. still. They're still not the U.S. It's a different country.
Right.
Yeah,
And you have to be careful, because when you start going down that road, when do you start picking out the people in your country saying, well, you know what? You don't have the same religion I have. You don't have the same skin color I have.
Feel free to think freely.
I think a lot of that.
Up next, this song is called Hills and Valleys by Taryn Wells.
My bad, James. That's my
James is
bad.
trying to get these
That's my
songs
bad,
out,
bro.
man. Trying to get these people their shine.
Hey, Ebony totally just jacked up the last one because it was an artist submission, and I ain't do our artist submission thing. Man.
That's a pew, pew, pew,
Nope.
pew.
Y'all, my mama is blowing up our comments. right now.
That's right.
All right.
She is. And she's making some valid points.
You're right. How immigration affects children. Let me tell you something.
That's- yeah.
The real talk though. And like I said, it's. I'm about to speak over the man again. Yeah, you do have to have extreme vetting. You do have to close it down if you're not able to take care of the people you have.
Right.
And that's just being real. I get it. And so on that level, I get it. Yes, land is your land, it's my land. But we're not really taking care of those who we already have here. And we gotta close that gap and fix that before we start taking in more. I mean, I get that.
So the church needs to step up.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying, Dave?
Yes.
That's always what I'm
We've
saying.
been saying that since the first episode.
Yeah.
But isn't the church the people?
That was episode
Yeah.
1.
Yeah,
The church is
And
the
that's
body,
And
but if you severed your hand from your body, is your hand still part of your body?
I said the people.
No, I'm saying-
I'm saying the church.
people have to make it a priority.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I get what you're saying.
All right, so Ice left me alone again to do this spaceship. So let's see. I come up with off the top of my head. Thanks, Ice. Well, the Grammys was last night, right? The Grammys was last night. Like shouts out to all the church sound people out there. It ain't that bad. You ain't as bad as they make you out to be. You know what I'm saying? Mistakes happen
Should
everywhere.
have had
You know
that
what I'm
tape
saying?
there. Don't go past this line.
You know, and then everybody wants to say that something was wrong with Adele's in-ears, but you're singing a cappella. So nobody told you to start in the wrong key in the first place. And you got, it happens. But of course,
But she fixed it though.
all the shade went back to the sound people. She did fix it. She came back and
She
fixed it.
showed up.
She ain't never come back and fix it. I mean, okay.
Oh,
Now how is she gonna? My thing is, and I get it. I get it on one end, and I guess it goes both ways. But I think we do have to have more mixed conversations, obviously, because the outrage over Adele congratulating Beyonce on how she empowers her black friends, that it's ridiculous. I mean, goodness gracious. Look, there are some songs that will empower certain of my friends. It will not have the same effect on others of my friends. You see what I'm saying? There's a song called "I Want to Rock and Roll All Night and Party Every Day," and I got some friends that look at each other.
The turn up will be real.
The turn up is real.
And you got nothing to book.
And the rest of us sitting over here like, I have no idea what's going on right now. and so I think we're so quick to make everything. We're so quick to make everything racial, everything offensive. When at the end of the day, there are certain things that are racist, and if we start treating each other like people, it'll be easier to see that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, Ice left me out here on the island. I had to say something. So, and shouts out to my man's Chance the Rapper.
Channel.
You know what I'm saying? Keep growing in the faith, brother. Keep growing in the faith. You might stop cussing.
Next song.
Don't worry, he's running the guide. He's running to him. This is "Run to You" by Yonea Dessa, featuring Eddie Niblet and Dwayne Fire.
Look here, my God.
This is our submission.
What? I don't know if he got any of them names right, but congratulations.
Hooked on phonics works. It really works.
Eddie Niblet. That's right there.
It is. I do see.
Yonea Dessa.
I wish there was like
That's
another name called Zach Snack.
It might be pronounced differently. Yanetta.
I tell you what, we need a little more respect shown to these Christian artists, like the Christian hip hop, actual Christian hip hop artists. Because Chance the Rapper makes one doggone song or two songs,
and everybody go to church, ain't it?
And everybody, it's so churchy. Be people making full albums like that, man. It gets no support.
Thank you.
At all, you know what I mean?
But, dang, Kurt Franklin.
Talk about PR.
R. Kelly makes "I Believe I Can Fly," and all of a sudden he.
Hey, can we just take that clip?
Like he wasn't peeing on somebody a month ago.
I want to turn your face into a toilet seat.
I'm just saying, all of a sudden.
Trip.
They get put you among great men.
Wow.
I hear 15 to get you 25.
We're back.
Freethinkers Radio. Oh my goodness. That happened. Shout out Dave Chappelle.
Y'all need to get on this Facebook Live. But speaking of government, something happened with the Coretta Scott King letter.
Wow.
When Senator Elizabeth Warren was trying to read the letter on the floor, she got shut down. Mm-hmm. But Bernie came back, and I'm about to translate. He came back, he was like, yo, yeah, I said it. Yeah, I read it. What you gonna do about it? And when we debate it, I'm gonna say something else.
You should be ashamed.
That's real.
Like, wow.
And they trying to say, it was the toe tie that she's been warned or whatever. Okay, well, you ain't warned Bernie.
Right. Bernie was looking everybody eye to eye like, I wish you would. Tell me to shut up. Tell me to stop reading.
Do it.
I was like, wow. Okay.
All right, so do we blame Sessions or do we blame her? Because she stopped.
Wow.
I blame the voters.
I mean, if she would have kept reading, what could they have done? Snatched her up?
No, I mean, no. She actually, yeah. I mean, it would become an offense. She actually, they voted. Mm-hmm. They got together. The people that we voted for her to not be able to say anything else.
Mm-hmm. What was the difference between what she was doing and what Bernie did?
Bernie didn't care.
Number one, Bernie didn't care. Number two, because Elizabeth Warren been smoking every cat that come up there with that foolishness, and they said, "Nah, you ain't about to do sessions like that because he's a senator." It's a fool. So the only person that they could do that with was Sessions because the rule says that you can't say something about another senator. Now it never gets enforced, but it got enforced in this situation because finally one of the nominees was a senator at the time, but they're acting in the role of a future nominee, so you should be able to say whatever you got to say.
You're not going to be able to say something about the person that you're supposed to be evaluating.
Right.
So what's the difference? I'm sorry. What's the difference between her not abiding by the rules and Trump not abiding by the rules? Why does it change now that it's somebody else and it's something that you believe in?
One got more power than the other.
Yeah. So an interesting thing to think about is with our senators, and the reason this rule's in place, if you look at Italy or Ukraine even before the overthrow and everything, you'd see basically the C-SPAN footage, and they're throwing chairs at each other, they're beating each other with bats.
Right. Turn up.
No, really, there's tons of footage.
You
You look at pretty much any of these other countries with it's a sign of of weakness, almost politically unstable, because you've got these deep divides that are more personal now. They're insults. They're basically this rule. You can look at it as if it exists because it prevents this like deepening of hatred, developing a further divide, in our country. That rule doesn't exist in these other countries. There's these big brawls on the floor. People are regularly getting stabbed. I'm serious.
It's for real.
Go look on YouTube. It's real.
But you know what? This goes back to all my woke friends out there who are like, yeah, I'm not going to the polls because I don't like Trump or Hillary because Hillary got Hillary's mentor is in the Klan and Trump says racist things, so they both the same to me. But the situation is, but you also didn't go vote for your senator. And so the senator that you didn't vote for doesn't have to listen to you. That's why Tim Scott can run a riot and do all the foolish things he's doing. We're going to get to him. Don't y'all worry about that.
That's right, Dave. That's right, Dave.
We're going to get to that, brother, there. But yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's how you end up in that situation. So these senators are not scared of us. You see what I'm saying? Because we showed with our protest during the voting process how much participation we were going to take. So they know whose voice to listen to and who's not to.
Absolutely.
And so they voted on behalf of the people who voted for them. And the people who voted for them will absolutely sexistly shut down a woman who continues to act all brainy in front of them, and you know what I'm saying, and you're coming at the old boy system and all that right there. Well, the old boy system won these elections, and we represent them, and there it is. You see what I'm saying? And also you can go and take Coretta Scott King back, what you do, because the people who support her, they ain't voting either.
And you know what's bad? Her niece actually spoke on Fox News a few days later and said, "Well, my auntie didn't know everything. My auntie was wrong. She has been wrong multiple times, and Session has done such great things for our people also." And I was like,
her brother tried to sell her daddy's Bible.
I was like, yo,
I really don't have any respect for her.
That
credibility
kind of points to the root of things as what counts as libel or slander.
Exactly.
The letter is historical, and sure, there's probably some really valid points in there. It could be 100% true, but the reality is we don't know. And with this rule in place, that it really comes down to, unfortunately, it comes down to this definition of how do we define what libel or slander is? Because in this case, she was just reading a historical letter from someone who wrote on topic about Jeff Sessions.
Straight up.
But at the same time, it can be also interpreted by other senators as they're going to hold that party line and use this rule.
Unfortunately, in this case, that can't be the case because it was submitted into. He was reading it from when they were trying to approve him as a federal judge, and he got turned down from being a federal judge. Based on that letter was part of the reason, so it's already been admitted.
Well, then it comes down to what people are trying to prove motive as. Is her motive to smear Jeff Sessions? Or it's her motive just to give historical facts?
Why you gotta talk about old stuff?
Past is the past.
What was that?
We were doing the Freethinkers radio thing. It just happened like that. Go ahead, James.
Up next, this is How Good by Social Club Misfits.
So, back to what we were talking about.
There you go.
From the other side, from not necessarily my typical point of view, if we're going to talk about strict vetting, we can't determine who that vetting is on. And if we're talking about somebody who's going to be in a place of power, I'm sorry, but whether I don't necessarily, I guess, agree with this rule that they have in place, because we should be able to vet that person under any circumstance. If they've ever done anything or said anything that could be questionable, it should be brought up so that everybody can look at it and determine for themselves if they think that it's valid or not. If it's never brought up, if it's never read at this session, then how are they able to determine whether it's valid or not?
That's what they used against. They use that to an advantage.
And so that's the other side for me. It's like, I'm going to talk about strict vetting. We got to talk about strict vetting.
Yeah, I agree with you completely about that. But who was backing her when she was trying to read the letter? When they told her to shut it down, nobody just stepped up and said, no, this needs to be read. This needs to be heard. Nobody defended her. And because nobody defended her, that shows that the people who back her are weak.
Yeah. Well, I think 46 people defended her, but the problem is there's 100
It's not
people.
enough of them.
Yeah. So they say they lost the vote on that situation.
Next up, this is "I Want to Go Back" by David Dunn.
Yeah, but see, I think what you said makes a really valid point, and I think that's something that they're going to have to revisit that rule on.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because what happens is they treated Jeff Sessions in that situation as a senator instead of a nominee.
Right.
And so that's what happened. That was the loophole, and Mitch McConnell saw it and went for it. That's politics.
So that seems like a big part of the problem. There's so many loopholes.
Well, so
Absolutely.
you can really, I mean, we should all be looking at this as it is very much a political game. You know,
sure.
it
For
is
sure.
not face value. None of this has been, you know,
what it is.
it hadn't been that way for a while. You know, one thing we can look at is I heard a really interesting expression that's kind of stuck with me, and I don't know if I agree with it, but it is interesting to think about. I heard the expression as like Democrats are basically having it's a race to the primaries for martyrdom, as in who can be first in line to like die at the feet, you know, in the name of going against Trump or going against the other party, you know, lining themselves up for
We know who
future
that's
political
gonna be.
candidacy. You know,
You gonna feel it. You gonna feel it.
Are we about to hustle backwards?
The burn.
Here we are. About
We're about to hustle backwards. It's about to happen. Okay, everybody, just get ready. Get set. The hustling backwards section of the night is happening. Dave Pendergrass, everybody.
Brought to you by.
Hustling backwards with
All right,
Dave
so
Pendergrass.
we hustling. We here talking about people who are absolutely hustling backwards, turn their feet around and keep their running that way. Yeah, a wise man said, "Boy, you ugly. You your daddy's son." Jerry Sandusky's son has been charged with sexual assault of a child. How you sitting up here? Didn't you watch your daddy go through all of this?
Apple.
You see what I'm saying?
You start with you first part to say, didn't you watch your daddy? Yes, he did.
your daddy's son.
What is
Obviously, he watched his daddy.
you saw that your daddy couldn't get away with it, and your daddy got actual money. You see what I'm saying? I mean, this is a problem that we're having. I think part of this is how we got to where we're at, though. Honestly, when you look at the KKK person that was killed in Missouri, you see what I'm saying? When you look at them, you look back through their history and you see the family tree.
Yeah.
And now, if you're paying attention, you see that this stuff does not work over a long period of time.
Straight up.
I mean, just look at. I mean, you just look at. Times are changing. Get with those times, and get ready to tell. I had a guy from Chapin, South Carolina, told me one time, really cool dude. He said, "Man, the only reason racism still exists is because people are scared to tell their grandfather they were wrong." And that is going on today. But as long as we still have Jerry Sandusky and Jerry Sandusky, the junior, the second, committing statutory sexual assault on a person 11 years old, I think we need, you know what I'm saying? I mean, just get your peoples, right? You know what I'm saying? Stop making the same mistakes over and over again. It's one thing to have a generational curse, it's just another thing to just be stupid. Hustling backwards.
Brought to you by Dave Pendergrass.
Well, God loves him anyway.
Wait, what?
I mean, I'm sure he doesn't like it and doesn't approve, and I don't know if he's been making it through the gates, but he loves him anyway.
keep on doing it.
This is "You Love Me Anyway" by Sidewalk Prophets. Jesus.
The timing is great on this show.
I'm telling you,
Timing is
Ice does not disappoint. Shouts out to Ice, man. Shouts out to Ice, man.
I really think he'd be getting into with the spirit when he be coming up with these playlists. Because every week we have at least one or really just
Right on
you know
point.
that was supposed to be there. Like it wasn't an accident. It was not a coincidence.
We're about to talk about you guys and your mentoring program the next segment.
Oh man.
Absolutely.
Let Gerard talk. I'm talking. Let him talk.
That's all right.
Let's burn that mic up, so.
He said, "No, it's all good." He said, "Nah, you been talking. Go ahead, bro."
You got the mic.
Shouts out to everybody who was at the Talented 10th conference this week. They had a lot of great activities, man. I had a chance to hear from the judge who ruled over the Walter Scott case. That was a pretty amazing dialogue right there. You know, when you would just understand it from the outside like that, it was.
You know, I had a police officer that
What you ain't about to do?
We're back.
what you're not gonna do is
Right, Elliot. We're back, Freethinkers Radio. We have guests tonight.
Yes, sir.
We have Mr. Gerard and Mr. Michael from the Board of Directors. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're so very welcome. Yeah, go wild, Crowd. Yay! Okay, great. All right. Somebody tired. So what is the Board of Directors?
Well, mentor organization here in Columbia, South Carolina.
A
It's
mentoring
founded-
organization? Okay.
Yeah. Founded by myself, Michael, and our friend Jabari, who couldn't be here with us tonight. Yeah, we all three work the same company, kind of started hanging out together, and really it felt like, well, Mike had the feeling that we were together for a reason. So, you know, we kind of explored what could we possibly do, and we learned from our backgrounds that we come from three different places as far as growing up. I came from a two-parent home, mother and father. Mike came from a single mother household, and Jabari from a single father. But we all realized that we had arrived with the same idea of what it took to be a man. So we kind of thought about what it was that we could possibly do to help other young men find that path. And the common thread was that there was a man somewhere down the line that cared for us. So we thought of how could we possibly, you know, go beyond ourselves. You know, it's one thing to be in front of a young man and teach the way and mentor, but how can we go to the places where we physically can't be? So that's why we wrote the book, The Makings of a Man, which is our first book.
Okay.
That's dope.
Wow.
real dope.
that was loaded.
Great answer. I've only given that answer about a zillion times over the last 6 years.
No, that's good stuff. So
I got that one memorized.
what was the process like starting the mentoringship?
Oh, really? It started out. Yeah, you can fall back, Mike. We started out because we got invited to Sanders Middle School here in Columbia, South Carolina, because they found out about the book, so they invited us in to speak, and they liked what we did, so it turned into a program there. So when that ended, it's like, you know, how can we keep this going on? How can we continue doing this even if we don't have that built-in relationship with a school or whatnot? So eventually that led to us creating our own program, which we call Manhood Academy. So every fourth Saturday of the month at the Continuing Education Center at Benedict College. And what that is an opportunity for us to get in front of young men and have those conversations that we had when we first started out. You know, sometimes we'll have a topic when we go in, we'll have an idea, but what we first do is open up the floor for the young men to tell us what it is that's on their mind. And sometimes we don't get to what we plan because it's more important for them to have that dialogue and open up, have that conversation. So it's just a time for brothers to fellowship and whatnot.
Okay. So when you did the program at Sanders, how long was that and what did it consist of?
Well, it was a after school program. We did that. I think we were there probably about 3 years?
3 years.
Yeah. So it was sometimes we went during the school day, during that open period, talked to them there. Part of it was after school where we dealt with the young men that were waiting, you know, for pickup or couldn't go home right away after school let out or whatnot. So
Yeah, summer session.
summer session, as well. Well, that was during the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of evolved in a couple different things while we were there, but for whatever reason, the program came to an end. But we had to find a way to keep that momentum going, having a platform to actually invite young men and have those conversations.
Right. So outside of the conversations, do you all do anything? Do y'all like assign someone a mentor, or like do y'all do anything outside of having those programs?
Well, that's the part of the process we're trying to get implemented right now. Yeah. The one thing about that is that it takes money.
Right.
Yeah. And there's only you can do things and you can go certain levels, but is not really, there's a limit on what you can do to a certain extent if you don't have the funds. I mean, me, Mike, and Jabari can get out there and mentor, but you can't just pull someone off the street and say, hey, go mentor this child, and then you don't know anything about that person.
They need to go through the vetting process.
We need some extreme vetting, and extreme vetting costs, you need some dividends to make that happen.
Okay. If somebody wanted to donate to your program, how could they do that?
Visit our website, themakingsofAman.com/donate.
That's all right.
That's it. It's just that simple.
Straight to the point. So when y'all dealing with the young men right away, King, have y'all cracked the Rubik's Cube on why they so soft?
I mean, that's a real big generalization that ain't always true. I mean,
Right.
a lot. What we find more often is that they acting too hard.
Okay.
Is that, and that was probably one of the main things that started all of this, because we would talk about issues we were dealing with in our own lives, or young men we may have seen who were, not carrying themselves in the way that they should have. And the common thread seemed to be like, I'm going to talk a good game, I'm going to act a good game, but really I need, somebody to just listen to me and pay attention to me, because then I realize I don't have to act hard all the time.
Yeah, and have to make sure when you're talking about soft is because what we do as men normally, if a young guy expresses himself, we call him soft. But that's exactly what he needs to do. He needs to be expressive. Because if you aren't able to communicate your emotions, then you're only left with two that you're going to respond with, either happiness or anger.
Right.
So and we limit men on the number of emotions they can express.
Yeah,
because we teach young men they can't cry.
Yeah. Right.
So what are you supposed to do with that?
Yeah, because that's where I come from. Because I grew up in a single parent home with just my mother. And I remember the first time I went to the basketball park to go play basketball. And all the guys knew I was from a single home. Yeah, you're not playing basketball today. 8 years old. First time out of the house. First time in the park by myself. They set up a fight for me.
Wow.
And that's what I was taught then. I'm like, well, I need to be tough.
Yeah.
And if I cried, the older boys jumped on me. So that told me right then, like, I need to be hard. I need not show emotion. And that's how I grew up for a very long time.
Yeah, I grew up the same way.
Yeah, it's not until recently that I've been able to kind of express myself. I've been able to kind of express myself up until recently. It's because I've been hanging around guys who taught me how to do that.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's real. Yes, sir.
Feel free to think freely. This next track is called Move by Flame. Move out the way, all them bullies out there. Teaching them boys that they got to be hard and then jumping on them when they like 5, 6 years younger than you are. That's helpful.
Wow.
Depends. It depends. How big is that dude that's 5 years younger than you? That depends. I jump on my nephew. I ain't gonna lie. My nephew's 17. I'm tagging.
I said boys, not men.
I was say age matter. If it's 20 and 25, it don't matter.
Thank you.
15 to 10, yeah.
15 and 10 is the difference.
Y'all saying I'm wrong for the chest punches? I mean,
Well, I mean, I got the chest punches, but I got those from my mama.
See, y'all got chest punches. I got Ric Flair chops.
that's big though. That's big, and I think that's what's so dope about what y'all are doing, because that's a perspective. You see what I'm saying? That I think what I'm saying. You have to have communication with a lot of kids that kind of see it that way. You know what I'm saying? Not like
I'm sorry.
Somebody.
No, we like to tell people that we like to tell people we offer them an option.
Did you?
Because there's so many different ways they can go in life. So there's so many different ways that kids can go in life. So we like to tell them
Feature song of the night.
This last song is "You Gonna Win" by Adam Prodigal Son, featuring Carl Chambers.
Shout out.
That's right.
That's right.
You gonna win.
Said something.
All right, Money Mike, go for it.
Yeah, I say because we don't tell them what we say is right or wrong. We say this is a different option for you to choose, and this is a path that you want to go down. We got you.
Gotcha.
I think
big.
Hearing everything hearing everything that you're saying with like letting the man know that, hey, you have more than just two emotions that you can invoke or evoke, whatever that big word is.
Express.
That's a good one. That's perfect. Bam. What I think about is like all the emotion that God carries, and God wasn't just happy and angry. He's given us every single emotion out there because we are made in His image, right? So if we're able to express and if we're able to feel all these emotions, why can't we express them?
And I think that's a very important thing I think it's very important to make sure you can teach kids, especially young boys, how to healthily express and release their emotions. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I grew up being told not to cry a lot.
And now he don't stop.
Actually, no. Now I don't
Steve
cry
Harvey.
at all.
Like Steve
That's-
Harvey.
Yeah.
Like legit, like I
Can't
actually
say
do not cry, and it's not like out of some macho thing. Like legit, like there have been plenty of times in my life in the last 4 or 5 years where I've wanted to cry and just haven't been able to. I probably cried once in the last like 4 or 5 years, and it's just because of that having that installed and instilled in you. Nah, you don't cry as a man. You know what I'm saying? So you have to, and to this day, I have a hard time really expressing myself, just speaking to people. You know what I'm saying? Like just trying to talk things out. So you have to be able to teach kids how to really be able to properly and healthily express those emotions and those feelings without them going from one extreme to the next and everything being chill one moment and then they might end up getting arrested the next. You know what I'm saying? You never know what might happen.
Wow.
Yeah, it's okay for men to cry, but you ain't gotta cry about every little thing.
Nah,
That's it.
Why not?
It's about control. It's about balance, man.
Yeah,
Real
man.
talk.
for sure.
That's hard to live out. Though. I ain't gonna lie. I can't remember the last time I cried, but I know there's been times
You feel that
felt like I would like to, but
just didn't.
how that thing works, I don't know.
And what was your response when you couldn't cry? What did you do?
Oh well.
Probably got angry.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Probably got
Yeah.
angry.
yeah,
Probably
just got that focus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know how it is. That pop tell you to focus.
Yeah.
Focusing gonna beat it.
That's it.
Hey, so yes, sir. This has been another day, another chance for y'all to enjoy us, nothing to enjoy y'all. We have enjoyed the house. I've been calling y'all the House of Representatives already. The board of directors.
Sound familiar.
That's new,
Absolutely.
and I don't think we heard that.
Yeah, the board of directors. Make sure you go. What's your website again, brothers?
www.themakingsofAman.com.
Absolutely, and you got a podcast.
Absolutely.
Yes,
MakingsofAman.com/podcast. Listen to the board meeting.
Absolutely. Check it out.
Official.
And
Yeah.
how can the people get in touch with you all individually?
You can contact us through email, info@themakingsofAman.com. You can call our voicemail line, 803-386-9660. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/board of directors. You can find us on Twitter @TheTrueBoard. You can find us on LinkedIn, True Board of Directors.
LinkedIn.
We out there. YouTube.
What's the name of the book that you all have?
We got 2.
Okay.
Yeah, we ain't on Etsy. We ain't up on that game. we don't have no crafts to sell. All we got is these books.
Don't be hating on the crafts.
Some t-shirts.
themakingsofAman.com/shop. Buy your book. You can find both of our books there, The Makings of a Man and The Makings of a Dream.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the audiobook is out there for The Makings of a Man.
Is it on Audible?
Having and listening.
Is it on Audible?
Is that Audible? Or
You can download it and listen to it audibly.
Okay. Got you. That's all right.
Yeah.
Well, once again, I want to thank our new cast members. Are they back again? We'll run them off of that. Lexa.
We're gluttons for punishment.
Yes, sir. Mr. William from the Chains, Alexa, and back all the way from the show. I'm not
Red
doing
beard.
Vikings.
Go ahead, do a
Mr.
voice.
Elliott
Come on, I hear
posted.
it. Go ahead.
Friday. Before we get off here, Friday, get be at Vibe Church for what is it? What is it?
It's by the Outcry Movement, The Sound. I'll be playing. Come check us out. 7 o'clock. 2630 Clemson Road.
Say that one more time.
2630 Clemson Road.
There you go.
That's the address.
Be there. We out.
That's it.
Be easy.
Peace.